More FIFO drama.
We've been focused on strikes by the LNG workers up north because if they down tools, the whole world's energy market will crap itself. It already has a bit of a fluttery stomach at the mere idea of a walk-off. So who knows what'll happen if there actually is industrial action. But there's a dispute in a different workplace that could be an even bigger problem for the Pilbara and other mining centres. The flight attendants who crew the FIFO flights that go north and other parts of the state are thinking about walking off the job.
Welcome to the spirit of Australia.
And if they do that, it's not just the LNG plants that shut down, it's the iron ore industry.
Imagine what we can achieve next if we continue to think big.
Big shit show at a time when BHP has pulled in a profit of just $20 billion. 400 cabin crew working for Network Aviation, that's Qantas, reckon the airline's screwing them on a deal reached in May. The Flight Attendants Association of Australia says Network Aviation has added a cheeky clause which wasn't part of the deal, that cabin crew could be asked to work up to 12 hours in one shift instead of the current 11. If there is a strike, the company's 33 plane fleet will be grounded and it's unlikely other airlines will be able to fill the vacuum. That means instead of doing this, tens of thousands of FIFO workers will be trapped at home with the kids doing this.
Like a rhinestone cowboy.
Australia's economic engine rooms could splutter out because a few hundred trolley dollies, which is a descriptor you probably haven't heard for about 30 years.
With good reason.
Because a few hundred cabin crew don't want to have to work an extra 60 minutes.
Another headache for Meg O'Neill.
Meg must be the only CEO in the world who is lamenting the timing of a record profit. Woodside has just revealed it made $2.7 billion in the first half of the year, and the company is tying itself in knots trying to spin the result two ways. Woodside spending the morning telling analysts and investors they should pile into the stock because the solid set of numbers show gas is comfortably back in black.
Hey fellas, look what I found in my pocket!
And then spends the afternoon telling trade unions that the stellar profit is a one-off that probably won't be repeated, so it would be irresponsible to give anyone a decent pay rise.
Wait a minute.
It's unlikely that the Offshore Alliance, which comprises the MUA and AWU, will buy what Meg's selling. Workers on the offshore platforms that feed onshore LNG plants could down tools as early as September too.
Catastrophic for Woodside if they do walk off the job.
But spectacularly good for Woodside if they just talk about walking off the job. WA accounts for 10% of the world LNG market, and concerns about supply have pushed prices up, which ironically will push Woodside's profit up. So Meg has an interest in stringing out negotiations as long as she can because she knows continued uncertainty will bolster both her company's bottom line and her annual short-term incentive bonus, which means she can afford more air freshener at the office and more security cameras at her home.
Not just good for Woodside.
No, it's good for the entire happy, dirty, rich, big oil family. But it's a fine balancing act. If your workers do strike, then you can't reap the higher prices triggered by the threat of a strike. That's why America's Chevron has sweetened its deal to the Australians working on the Gorgon and Wheatstone platforms.
The Yanks could ask some advice from K-Rudd.
Our man in Washington, who used to be able to go viral just by cutting himself shaving, now needs a little help to get traction on Twitter. X. Whatever. A disturbing amount of effort went into this tweet by Australia's now bearded ambassador to the US.
We've seen politicians do cringier
Yes,
things.
we have. But much like the sausage Bill Shorten couldn't eat properly, you don't want to know what went into making that tweet. Documents released under FOI have given an insight into the amount of planning by Rudd's media team to capitalise on Margot mania, and revealed they shit themselves that Rudd wouldn't find it funny, which might have triggered his infamous temper.
To members of my staff, past and present, you can tell them because they're the ones who are exhibiting PTSD today.
Turns out they had nothing to worry about.
No, because Kev had no idea the tweet had been made, and when he saw it, he didn't get his own joke.
Just hopeless.
I'm Ben Harvey. For more Up Late, click the subscribe button below.